Hey there. Hopefully I didn't stand there too long without doing anything because I wasn't sure if I was if I was live yet. But today I'd just like to chat with you a little bit about 3 things you might be doing every day that cause premature aging. Number one, over consuming animal products. Animal products are very taxing on our bodies. It takes a lot for us to digest and process animal products. And a lot of these new fad diets and things like keto and things like that have us eating a lot more protein. There actually is not a protein deficiency in the United States. We all eat way too much protein, and now they're telling us to eat even more. So animal products, consuming them causes a lot of problems in your body because your body is taking time to digest this and not taking time to do the normal processes of taking care of our bodies from the inside out that it's supposed to be doing. Number two, over consuming processed junk foods. A lot of these foods are really not even foods. There's a lot of chemicals and all kinds of junk in there that our bodies were not designed to eat. And so when we put those things in our body doesn't know what to do with it. And so we digest some of it, we store some of it, it has to go through all of our intestines and our organs and everything. And again, it's taxing our organs, which is causing us to age faster because our body is having to work so much more than normal, all of our organs. And number three, not sleeping enough. And this has been a problem of mine for a lot of years, and I've definitely made progress with this over the last several years. When we sleep, our bodies are taking care of all these things that rebuilding in the damage that we do to our bodies throughout the day and what the environment does and what we're doing with food and alcohol and different things like that. So if we're not getting enough sleep, our body can't do what it's supposed to do. And then it just snowballs as we build, each day we're adding more lack of sleep on top of it, and then all these other bad foods that we might be eating. So it just kind of snowballs things. And what happens when we, over years of eating that way and not sleeping enough and being stressed out, it basically leads to chronic diseases. So things like diabetes and autoimmune diseases, MS and arthritis and different allergies and atherosclerosis, metabolic syndrome, liver disease, cancer, Alzheimer's. All of these kinds of diseases, they come in later in life, but it didn't start then. It actually starts years and years before when we're doing all of this stuff to our bodies. And our bodies are very, they really are able to handle a lot, but after years and years and years of doing that, we get to a point where our bodies just can't handle it and things start to break down. And this is what happens as we end up with chronic diseases. But the good news is 90% of all of these diseases are actually preventable and reversible. So if you've already gotten to one of these points where you maybe are taking high blood pressure medicine or you're pre-diabetic and things like that, you can actually reverse that stuff. But it's better to prevent it if you can. So try to do that ahead of, get ahead of it if you can. So this was a quote I heard and I thought it was fabulous because a lot of people think, well, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, they all had diabetes or heart disease and different things like that. So I'm just that's, my future, that's my fate. But it doesn't have to be that way. So your genes may load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. So what we eat and do with our bodies throughout our lives is what either turns our genes, those bad genes on or turns them off. So we have control over our health and how we're going to live out the rest of our lives. We don't want to end up in a nursing home for the last 20 or 30 years or going to the doctor and taking, a handful of pills every morning because you're on all these medications. So you have control to stop that, and you can prevent a lot of the stuff that can happen later in life. The main thing you want to do is to eat more plants. Now, I'm not saying you have to eat 100% plant, you have to be vegan, everybody's, no, I'm not saying that. Eating more plants, getting more plants into your body compared to what you currently eat is going to help. So that's what I'm saying, is just eat some more whole plant foods. That's what our bodies were designed to eat. So it's not all or nothing. You can dramatically reduce your risks by replacing just 3% of the animal products and the junk food that you're eating now with whole plant foods. So 3%, that's not a lot. It's just kind of adding in a little bit and kind of pushing out some of the bad stuff. It's very, very simple to do. It can be a little overwhelming at first, but I have a lot of different strategies to do this, and I can make it very easy to fit into your lifestyle. So imagine if 3% can make a big difference. Imagine if you replace 10 or 20%. And now I'm not saying 100%, but the closer you get to 100%, the even more benefits you're going to see. You feel better. You won't believe how good you feel by just doing 3 to 10%. You would notice a difference in how your body feels, in the amount of energy you have, and how your digestive tract is working. And again, it's preventing those diseases that tend to creep up on us as we get older. And the thing is, just start today. You can start with small steps, and you can start today at the next meal that you're eating. Just add one plant food to it. Say, okay, how can I make this next meal just a little bit healthier? That's all you have to do. And we eat a lot throughout the day, so there's always another chance to start again. So you can always make a new choice. You can add some, fruit to yogurt. You can add some veggies to your eggs. So there's very easy things to do without eliminating. You don't have to think about it as deprivation. You're thinking about it as adding in new stuff. So if you think about it that way, it's a positive thing and not a negative thing. And it makes it, you don't feel deprived, and it makes it a lot easier to stay on track. So to help you get started, I have a free recipe book that's available on my website. It's empowerfitness.com/recipe book. And you can just go there. You can private message me if you have trouble finding it, but download the recipe book. They're very simple recipes because I don't like to cook. So it has to be easy. They're all, ingredients that you can find in the grocery store, nothing crazy. So I hope you like it. And it's a way to get started, and then let me know, how you feel once you get started on that.